you freaks and geeks out there in podcast land? It's Wednesday, March the 1st, and you know what that means. Welcome, freaks and geeks, to another smoke-filled and jam-packed episode of the Doctor's Orders podcast with the 512 Foot Doctor. The podcast where I meet with some of the most creative and influential people that I know to share stories from the ride of life. As always, I'm your host, the 512 Foot Doctor, coming at you live and direct from the one and only studio of Life or Death. If you're a returning freak or geek, thank you very much for checking back into our regularly scheduled appointment. And if you're new here, tuning in for the first time, welcome to the Freaks and Geeks family. Freaks and Geeks, we're back. Took a little week off, had to prep for something new, had to prep for Volume 4. That's right, Freaks and Geeks. Volume 4 of the Doctor's Orders podcast with the 512 Foot Doctor begins now. Episode number 31 of the podcast. I sit down with a buddy of mine. We talk some shoes. We talk some of the crafts that he's into lately. He's really been getting down with making some beautiful leather wallets and leather like billfolds and card slots and card sleeves. But he's definitely a big shoe head. And we talk shoes for a good amount of time. The culture, some of our favorite shoes, some of our favorite sneakers that we've appreciated through our time. And we boil it back down to talking leather, talking his craft and what he does. So pretty excited for this one. Freaks and Geeks, put your hands together. Welcome our guest. Episode number 31. Jesus Serrato. Here we go. All right, what's up, man?
Nothing, man. I was saying, we have a party we're planning for the boy coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
Turning 9. He's heavy into football, which is funny. He wasn't into sports before. He just got into sports. So the theme is football.
Yeah, nice. What's are you sticking with like NFL or just the sport in general?
I mean, he's a fan of the Cowboys already. Unfortunately,
yeah.
We did not do that to him, but yeah, and he, I think he just like the sport. I don't think he's had favorite players yet in that whole business. So we're just glad he's into it now.
Dig that, man. Birthdays are always solid, and that's your oldest, you said?
Yeah, he says he'll be turning 9.
Oh, nice, good. So, the way we do it here, we got a little checkup procedure that I kind of started the last episode. Our buddy of ours, AJ, the shoe janitor. He hit me up and was like, you haven't really been talking about shoes a lot. And I was like, you're right. I definitely agree with you. I've kind of been waiting for somebody to call me on it. So thank you very much for calling me on it. But he was like, got to open up with a good sneaker related question. So that's why we bring this one up in the conversation. What you got on feet? If you don't have anything on feet right now, what were you rocking today?
Honestly, right now I'm barefoot, but I was wearing an Air Max Bespoke that a guy made for me a couple years back.
Oh,
so he's made 4 pairs for me now, and he does just Air Max Bespokes.
Yeah, excellent. What color are they?
So it's I sourced all the material, so it's like stuff on there, selvage denim.
Yeah.
So shades of blue. Ooh. And then a purple suede.
Okay.
And the cool part about that one was I had found some gold python skin. So he's able to put the gold python in the shoe, and then a corduroy, like a striped vintage corduroy, like on the toe box. Ooh. That I think I got that one off of eBay.
Corduroy is always a nasty material. I love that.
I shipped the whole thing, shipped it back. It took about 2 months, I think.
Yeah, that's good. What's your shoe size, if I may ask?
10.5, 11. Always depending on the shoe. I always go up to an 11 if I know, the certain shoes fit too snug on your feet. I got fat.
Yeah, nice size. I'm the same size, so excellent. Love it. All right, so Jesus, where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
So originally, I was born in central Mexico, Guanajuato. And we made the move here to Dallas back in 1990. So I've been here forever, I feel.
Straight from there to Dallas?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess you could say I'm from Dallas, technically.
Yeah.
I was
How old were you when you made the move?
I was 7. I was 7, so I mean I've been here, ever since.
Mm-hmm. All right, so, damn, you're just kind of thrown in as a 7-year-old into that, like, just Texas American life. Like, that's got to be something big. Like, where'd you go to school at? What area like Dallas did y'all stay in?
So we came to East Dallas, which is, I guess, the border of East Dallas where it kind of ends.
Yeah.
And kind of like not too far over, you start going to North Dallas, which is, the fancier, wealthy area. Yeah. But it's still much East Dallas. And I mean, we were there forever until everything kind of got bought off, all the bars and the restaurants and the whole thing moved in, the lofts. So then we moved to Southeast Dallas, where we live currently.
Okay. Well, so where'd you go to school at?
It was funny. It was a elementary, pretty much like 2 blocks down the street.
Okay.
They kind of like changed that, became like an inaugural school recently. Yeah. And then even as a kid, like I got into Montessori as a Montessori student, which is funny because I currently teach Montessori, Yeah. So it was I went through Montessori schooling up till high school, and then in high school, I was just there trying to, like, I guess, buy time. I was like, what's going on here, because the opposite Montessori is traditional, and eventually made my way to UT Dallas, UTD.
Okay.
And it's funny because I was kind of busy, like all the time. I was taking class at UTD. I was taking class at community college. So I was just going back and forth. I was in a hurry, man. I was trying to get up out of there.
Yeah.
3.5 years, I finished and then started teaching right away. Like as soon as
Excellent. So what high school did you go
to? I went to North Dallas High School for my first 2 years, which was my neighborhood high school.
Okay.
Which, frowned upon. Like, you don't go to Montessori school and then go to your home school. You're supposed to go to Townview. You're supposed to go to, the other schools. Yeah. I'll be all right. But then my last 2 years, I ended up going to Skyline, which was kind of like a Townview kind of school. Not Townview per se, but, like more like Magnet Academy, those kind of things.
Oh, all right.
So,
was there any sports there?
Larry Johnson's Skyline alum. I don't know if you knew it.
Okay, no, I didn't know that. That's what's up. That's cool. Yeah. Did you play any sports there?
Oh, nah. Like, I mean, honestly, it's not because I didn't want to. I just didn't have the time since I was butting back and forth. Mm-hmm. Like, my only shot to play was actually at my home school where I tried. I was going to try out for basketball.
Yeah.
Then I made the move over. So, like, it never happened.
So I mean, when we get to talking about this, like your craft that you do you take any like art classes in high school or anything like that?
Honestly, no. Like in high school, I was heavy into just playing a lot of sports and doing. I mean, my electives weren't even electives, man. It was just like AP classes, which is crazy. I wish I had more art stuff, but I didn't. Like, but my wife's always been, I guess, the art one. Like, she's always done like painting and she's always done those kind of things. Yeah. So I think I get some of the ideas from her.
Cool. You play any instruments?
Played the violin.
Okay.
Actually, violin, I think for like 4 or 5 years.
What grade did you start that at?
Right away, like first grade, the first year we got to Dallas. Like I tried it out and I liked it. Kept going. When I moved to the Montessori, I didn't have time to go back and meet with my old teacher because she was still kind of teaching after school. Yeah. And I was like, this ain't working out, like we're coming back, it's late. So again, like kind of like a time thing.
Yeah. So you played violin. Is that the only instrument you played? Do you play anything now?
No, I played the violin and I gave it up. I think it was close to 5th grade year. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I just jumped right into basketball, man. Like it was pretty much basketball ever since, up until I want to say college. Yeah. And I just kind of stopped completely.
Right. What's your parents' names?
Jesus. My dad's Jesus. My mom's Graciela.
Okay. What'd your dad do when you were growing up?
Oh, the complete opposite, man. I'm over here teaching kids. He was heavy into roofing.
Okay.
He was heavy into construction, heavy into lawn work. Pretty much the heaviest, hardest work you can think of. That was my dad.
Yeah. Cool. What about your mom? What'd she do?
She's been a housewife most of the time, and like she cleans houses here and there. But I think the only houses she really cleans, they're like people she's known for years. I think maybe 15, 20 years. So like she has a couple of ladies that she's been known for a while.
Well, do you got any siblings?
Yeah, I'm the oldest. So I have a younger brother and a younger sister.
Okay. All right. Do they have any kids?
Yeah. It's funny because me being the oldest, like I had no kids. My brother, the middle child, he had kids first. He had 2. So, parents are always like, hey, when are you having kids? Like, where's your kids? Like,
yeah.
And I was just like, nah, we don't need any kids yet, So they had their grandkid fixed for a while.
Yeah.
Then I had my 2 boys. Then my sister had her 2 kids. So it's funny. We all 3 of us have 2 kids each.
Yeah. All right. Do you remember some of like your like first jobs, like at a high school area, maybe even like at a college too? Like, do you remember some of those?
Honestly, like my first job, like not real job, it was a friend and I, we used to go clean a bakery together. Like his mom worked at the bakery, and on weekends she wanted to like take off. So she was like, y'all want to go, do the bakery, like, and they'll pay you like cash. Cause I mean, we were what, 6th, 7th grade. So, we're supposed to be doing it. So they're like, we'll go do it. So like we'd go a couple hours, make some money, save it, go spend it on junk or whatever. But it was like every weekend, that was a routine. Like me and him would go. And it was funny because like a 4 or 5 hour job, dude, we'd be out of it like in 2 hours. Like, let's go.
That's I get down with that little, trying to put a little back for something for yourself, that's cool. You've got a lot of these Air Max. What are some of your other favorite shoes that you have a personal appreciation for?
There's a couple of Jordan models.
Tell us about those. What are your favorites on that?
Like the Jordan 14, I love that shoe and that model because it was actually the first Jordan I bought myself, with the little money I was making. Was
it the last shot joints or what colorway was it?
Nah, most people go after, the common ones. Mine was the Indiglo 14.
Okay.
Because that Indiglo 14 was one of the pairs that made it to Ross. So back in the days, the Indiglo 14 you could buy for 32 something. So like I saw it and I'm like, yeah, that's going home with me. Like, $32. Like, yeah.
Black leather.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's kind of plain, but it's a dope shoe.
Yeah.
And I remember I played and destroyed it, like in the blacktop.
Yeah. No, I dig on the 14 model. I only have 1 pair, but that's cool. What are some of your other favorites on the Jordan spectrum?
I've liked the Jordan 3 model, but I don't like wearing it. I don't know if it makes any sense. Like I love the look of the shoe, but it feels bulky and heavy. Like
a little heavy.
Same thing with the Jordan 11. Jordan 11 is like a pretty shoe.
Yeah, very pretty.
My feet, I'm like, no. I've tried forever, but I can't pull you off. Like can't do it. So
how many do you have? Any 3s?
Actually, not at the moment.
Have you ever owned a pair of 3s?
I've owned fire red 3s, black cements. I've owned that do the right thing while the lifestyle series. I've that reverse elephant print, like all those weird, like there was that point they were making those like crazy colorways. Like I was picking up all those 3s
and whatnot. You remember that?
Yeah,
those were wild too.
Yeah, it was a lot of them that were coming out, man. For a few, it was like I wouldn't say like a year or 2 where they had that crazy run. I remember like those Tour 4s. It was around that time.
Mm-hmm. So 11s, how many? Tell me about those. How many of those you got?
Dude, I got 1 pair at the moment.
Yeah,
because every pair I've ever had, like I've gotten rid of. I've had everything from the old Space Jams to the new Space Jams to the old Concords, the new Concords. lows, regular highs, or mids, whatever people want to call them. And it's always the same thing. You know, I wear it for a while, and then I'm like, why is this shoe squeaking? Because I hate that on 11s. Or, you know, like, why does it look so bulky on me? Like, and I just get rid of it. I mean, a lot of time for like cheap, you know, like it would be like $100. Like, here you go.
Do you got any other favorite Jordan brand models?
Now, as far as Jordan goes, I think it's probably like the 11, the 3s, the 14s, just because my memories that are tied to that shoe.
Yeah.
But
I really, oddly enough, I thought I really favored the 9 because it was like the first like silhouette that I ever purchased. But after some time, I definitely favor the 4. I really dig that. I don't know why. I have a lot of pairs, a lot of different colorways on 4s. But yeah, I have quite a few colorways on 9s as well. But I guess I kind of just made that transition. I guess like you could throw a 9 in my like top 3. I'll still like show appreciation for it. I don't know. I have a couple of pairs of 5s, but those are a really, really bulky shoe as well. And that's not like, I don't really like to wear it because of that. I think one of the lighter shoes would be like a 7. 7's kind of light, not that bad. 8s are bulky. I feel they got a lot going on with little X straps and whatnot. 10s are oddly enough like right in the middle. I feel. I don't know. Do you got any pairs? You got any pairs of 10s or anything like that?
Honestly, I had a couple. I had that old. I think it was that Shadow that came out a while back.
Okay.
And then I had the Chicago one when the retros were coming, you know, heavy.
Yeah.
I think I just had about 3 or 4 of the 10s.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were pretty light. I mean, they were pretty light, and I mean, they were decent.
Little rounded toe box, you know, pretty simple.
Honestly, it's something to me is more of an easy to wear shoe. Like some shoes, they're hard to wear at times because they're not really comfortable. Most of the models.
Yeah. Are you looking forward to picking anything up in the near future?
Honestly, man, for the last, I'm not gonna lie to you, maybe the last 2 to 3 years, and not even just due to resellers or kids or whatever you want to call it. I just took the approach where anything that's coming out, if I don't get it, I just don't get it. Like, it's just, I'm not paying resale to anybody or anyone or any site. And it is what it is. Like, there's so much stuff coming out not even every week anymore, man. Every other day. That I'm just like, I'm gonna go find whatever I like that's available.
Gotcha.
And it is any brand. Like, I don't discriminate. Like, friends will tell you, I'll wear from a New Balance to a Puma to a pair of Asics, a pair of Reebok, a pair of Sambas, whatever. Like, if I can get it and I get it for under retail, even better.
Yeah, I gotcha. But nothing on the horizon? Nothing you're looking at to capture in the near future?
I mean, as far as release dates, honestly, and only because of my attachment to that pair, probably that DMP 11.
Yeah, that's gonna be the cap to this year, you know.
That's the only. To be honest, that's if I had to pick just one. If I get that one, I'm good for the whole year.
Yeah, no, that is a big release. Did you have any of those packs?
I had that one, man. I had that.
Had that joint with the 6. With the 6s, right?
And it was funny because it's the direct link to my teaching. Like, I was shopping at DK back then, DK Foot and Casual.
Yeah.
So, and it was early on, so I was still building kind of like connections there. But I got in good with one of the main managers, and I told her I've been looking for the shoe weeks, you know, coming up. And then she's like, I got you, you know, just call me that day and I'll hold you down. So she did. Like, I called her and I'm like, did you get my size? She's like, yeah, but I need you to come probably late tonight, you know, as everything dies down, or probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, we're good. And so, like, I showed up, I think, right before they closed. And all the chaos, you know, had already died down. I got my shoe and went home with my pack, whatever. Yeah. Funny thing is, not too long after that, I had to sell it. Like, I had to, because I had to come up with my alternative teacher money because I didn't do the right, teacher route in college.
Yeah.
So so I was like, how do I get this much cash this quick? Mm-hmm. And there was the box. I was like, let's go. Mm-hmm. So pretty much I was kind of forced to let it go.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah. Man, sometimes they dish one out to you like that, and that's what has to be done. But this is the opportunity you get to get it back. Have you ever owned it again?
I did. I had it again.
Really?
2 years after. I ran into a guy that I met at a Kickspo event. I don't know if you know, Kickspo was really big at a certain point here in Dallas.
Yeah.
And he sold for me for cheap, man. It was almost retail, and it was almost brand new.
Shout out to him, by the way. Shout out to Kickspo for sure. That's a organization.
Yeah, Kickspo was dope for a while, man.
Yeah. So hell yeah, like I would say there's a couple of pairs I'm looking for in the future. I don't know if you're up on it. Action Bronson's got a New Balance sneaker coming out soon. Have you seen that joint?
Yeah, that color's crazy, but I like crazy stuff.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't post a lot of my shoe posts anymore due to the leather, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got some wild colors, man.
Yeah. I dig that one, man. I'm trying to get when that pair comes out, I'm steadily hawking the fucking release date on that, waiting for the details to drop. But I'm gonna try my hardest to get that one. We'll see what's up.
I'll help you out. Like I'm telling you, if I can get it for me, I can always help others.
Cool, man. Thank you. Also looking for the Thunder 4. That's pretty much my big main two. I don't want to say main two. That's really what I'm looking for on the horizon. So those two, I think those two are just really hot colorways for the summer that are going to be pretty nasty.
No, I remember when those first came out the first time, those and the Lightnings.
Yeah,
they were hard to find, like super hard to find. I feel all the disrespect when that Lightning was just everywhere, man. Like I was not expecting that.
Yeah. You spoke about the chaos when it came to getting that DMP pack. Like I remember it. I mean, there was a point where stuff got dangerous, and I can only speak of from 05 to 2015. I can only speak in that era, not even prior to that. In the 90s when, stuff was going to different shops, not just the mall to pick up a pair, going in the back and whatnot. But in that 2000s era, it could get a little dangerous just trying to pick up your pair, especially into the December, big heat months. That's when it really got pretty bad. But do you think that's kind of scaled back a little bit with all the digital releases and whatnot?
Honestly, I think we don't see it anymore because I think there's two things still going on. Like the whole backdooring, I don't know how much bigger it is now, but I think it's always been around, big time. I mean, small shops, big shops, it doesn't matter the shop. They have, I think there's an allocation they have for friends and family, and there's allocation for the regular folk.
Yeah.
And I mean, they can deny it all they want. I mean, even local boutiques do it that way. That's how all their friends and, IG friends and all that, they always end up getting their pair.
Yeah.
The online raffles, I think is what's a slap in the face. I've talked to AJ and other people about this. When you hit on online raffles from regular stores or boutiques and you're 1 for 1,000, I'm that's always suspect,
Yeah.
It's just how do I not hit? And I try, let's say, for every single shoe that you have coming out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, before, I'll tell you how we used to do it. I'll pay $20 to the House of Hoops manager, and my raffle ticket was getting pulled. It was $20, so and I'm taking 20 pairs. I was taking one for me,
Yeah.
It's definitely scaled down as far as violence goes, but as far as all that, slimy,
a little corruption still there.
Yeah, that's never going away, man. There's bots being ran all over the place.
Yeah,
everybody, the big dudes are either using a bot or they have a bot service.
Yeah, so I I remember having success on the apps and whatnot. I always struggled when it came to trying to get a shoe online. Especially like a sought after shoe, like an 11 or just like a solid release versus going in person. I remember like going to camp, or I don't even want to speak on the camp. I just remember getting up on a Saturday, taking the day off because I wanted to take the day off, go to the mall on a Saturday. And this is speaking like in the Denton area, because that's really when I kind of started to buy a mass amount of shoes just for myself in the college realm. But waking up on a Saturday, going to the mall, and just posting up in front of at the time was a Finish Line, could have been a Hibbett's as well. But and I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, damn, dude, we don't do that anymore. Like what's up with that? It was almost ritualistic. The entire process, you go and you're just waiting there, you get your shoe. Highly suggest waiting in line, like getting there that early to get your pair. But it doesn't occur like that anymore. Usually it's just through the mail. But
yeah.
Do you remember that time?
Well, I mean, the thing is, I know you're going to hate me for it, but I always had like cheat codes. Yeah. So like Saturday releases, I was probably working that Saturday or every Saturday. So I was picking up my shoes that Wednesday before Saturday hit. So I would either go to DK and pick it up on a Wednesday or Thursday and then have everybody else fight on Saturday. Yeah. Or that, or paying the managers the $20, and go pick it up either Saturday night or the next day.
That's the lie.
And the worst one was when we had our bot running. Mm-hmm. Like we had one of the original bots way back, which was, who knows how good, back then, but it was like a 3-second checkout, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Damn.
Like we would put in, I'll give you an example. Those Oregon duck foam posits have like little wings everywhere. If you went to the keyword on the bot or the system and put Oregon foam posit, PE, ducks, whatever, all in the keyword search, right? And then you just put your size and let it run. It would be running. The moment that thing dropped, checked out, good to go. Like you were done.
Jeez.
But it was again, my one size, my pair. Yeah. Like that was the rule with those dudes, that group we had.
Yeah.
Like we're running the bot, but who wants the shoe, who wants the size, and that's what we're doing.
You're talking about this group that had a bunch of heads from that you were speaking about earlier?
Dude, it was great. It was, so we met on ISS, Inside Shoes, those chats and forums or whatever.
All right.
Somewhere on ISS and Nike Talk. I stayed more on ISS.
Yeah.
But it was like, I don't know. Somehow we just found out we were all kind of older. Mm-hmm. So it was like maybe mid-20s, mid-30s at the time. And some dudes were in Canada, Vancouver. Some dudes there was one dude in the Philippines, he's still there. One guy was in Germany. He was in the military. We had a bunch of dudes here in the States. Cali, New York, Maryland, DC, Houston, Minnesota. So most was from here, but we had pretty much, like connections everywhere.
Yeah.
So like something was coming. We were just like, let's put it out. Let's see who can get it.
Yeah.
And dude, at a point, we were touching everything. Like, it kind of sucks that we were almost being too spoiled at a time. Jordan didn't matter, New Balance Limited didn't matter. Like, our two, I think, biggest, I guess, not even letdowns. It was just, it wasn't meant to be, I want to say.
Yeah.
We shut off that bot. Guess the day that we had that bot, turned off. I don't know if you're going to guess this, but just think one of the hardest shoes to get your hands on till this day.
Like a Galaxy? What's that?
The Red October.
Okay. See, I was going to go with some Kanye stuff, but I went with the Galaxy. Yeah, that was just a drop out of nowhere, right?
And that's why we had the bot just shut down. Because we figured, there's no point. We had the keywords, we had read this, we had whatever.
Yeah.
it was shut off. The bot was shut off. And I remember I was driving home from a yoga class,
Mm-hmm.
and I got the alert that, oh, something just dropped, right? I get on there, and that was the shoe, man. And I was like, there's no way that it happens on the day. It was meant to be. Like, it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
And that was one time. The second time, have you ever seen the Kobe Spark?
I don't think so.
So that Kobe Spark shoe, this is how dumb we were. It hit the Philippines.
Okay.
So our homie there.
Electricity and whatnot?
Yeah, if you just put Kobe Spark, it'll pop up. It's a beautiful shoe. So our homie out there, he's like, hey, y'all, like, the shoe's here. Like, who needs a pair? Or how many do y'all want? Because those were usually the two questions. Who wants a pair and how many do you want, right? Everybody said, nah, we're good. And yeah, because we're just going to wait till it hits House of Hoops in Houston and Dallas and New York, whatever, and we just pick it up. It never came.
Yeah.
The Kobe Spark, if I remember correctly, was like a Philippines exclusive. Little did we know.
Yeah, that's wild.
Like, your chances of finding a decent pair or a brand new pair at a decent price, non-existent. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, those two were hard, man.
Yeah, that's what's up. Now I was just reminiscing this morning about that entire process of just it's very different now. It is I can't relate it to anything that it used to be. Even shoe shows are different. Yeah, just what you're seeing there. But it's change. It's going to occur. It's going to grow in popularity. It's going to decrease in popularity, and it's going to grow back in popularity again. And it's really just about all of what you like. You know what I'm saying? So as much as it's going to change something, it's always going to definitely circle back around that you get down with and that you like when it comes to shoes and whatnot. So a buddy of ours, we keep on talking about this buddy, and Freaks and Geeks. If you aren't following the Shoe Janitor on IG, go hit him up. Go follow that cat and go check his episodes out in the past. He's definitely doing some good stuff in life. But so Shoe Janitor gets me this wallet. I kind of dropped a little hint that I was like, dude, I want this wallet that Jesus is making over at his little your IG brand, your IG route, soles and things. Lately you've been displaying a lot of these wallets you've been getting down to, and I think I have like one of the early ones. This joint right here.
Yeah, that's one of the early ones.
It's dope. It's very minimalist, and that's really what I get down with. But so Shoe Janitor's just hears me out that I'm like, yeah, I'm interested in that one. And out of nowhere picks it up for me, and I'm like, oh shit, that's what's up. Appreciate you. Again, Shoe Janitor, thank you so much for that, dude. I use this thing every day. But these dope little wallets, fill us in on this venture. So how did this get started? You're currently doing a lot of more things. You've done like stuff with baseball gloves. You got a lot of different cuts, a lot of different shapes. Where does this come from? A lot of different paint colorways. You're venturing out into a lot of different stuff, and you've also, Shoe Janitor's probably going to come back into talk in just a moment because you did a little collab with him on a couple of things. But fill us in on how do we get to this point where this wallet gets created? What's up with this?
I went out to this workshop here at Tandy. They have a store, whatever, Tandy Leather.
Yeah, and
they had a build your basic wallet or billfold.
Yeah,
and I was like, let me give it a shot and see how it goes. Man, it was hard. It was intense. Like, I didn't know how to punch a hole. I didn't know how to cut a piece of leather. I was like, 2 hours later, I had, a horrible looking wallet. And I was like, you know what? I got to keep, trying to do better. So I bought a couple of hides, a few tools off of Amazon, and I kind of went at it. And my cuts started getting a little better. My patterns, I Etsy, you can find them anywhere as far as the patterns go.
Yeah.
Little by little, I started seeing my stitching was improving. So it's pretty much, the more you do it, the better you get at it or whatever. But then I started seeing so many different hides, so many different suedes, thin hides, thick hides, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And that's my rabbit hole. I was crazy about sneakers, but still am. I tend to obsess. So like, I'm like, I need to just try more things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I started making the baseball glove, you know, card holders. I started chopping up old shoes recently, and I started doing like Air Force Ones, Jordan Ones, the Jordan Hair 7 that AJ donated. I turned into fanny pack. A few people one. I made him an ID holder recently. I made him a long billfold. Like it's just I don't know, man. It's taking so many different routes because now I do a lot of the water marbling, which originally is paper marbling, but you can attach that to leather, and you can also dye the leather. So it's just
those water marbles, like they start blank.
So it's pretty much you buy a giant piece of hide, you know, Veshtan, just the natural hide or whatever. You cut it to a certain size, and you go through the water marbling process. So you prep your paint, you prep your water, and then you just play around with your design. So you can be very basic.
That's a dope little like concept you have on that water marbling. It's sick. There's endless possibilities for this. The outcome of what you get. Have you ever seen them do that with guitars? They'll do it with an electric guitar.
I haven't seen the guitar. I've seen the scarves come out pretty cool. They've done scarves and the other stuff like that.
I think. Because for the guitar, they just take it and they dip it in like a bucket that has the paint and it's also got water in it. The paint layer on top and the water on the bottom, and it kind of just takes to the guitar itself, which is pretty odd.
They might be hydro dipping.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is.
They might be hydro dipping, and I at first I thought it was nothing to it. You throw your paint, you do the thing. Yeah. So I would say the hydro dipping is a little quicker and easier because you just throw your paint and you dip. Yeah. When you're dealing with the water marbling, you're able to control your paint more. So your paint kind of floats, and you can do crazy designs. I mean, you could do basic designs. You could do like something, more complicated. But every design comes out looking different every time if you want.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the IG right now, and you've got a couple of different what would you call it for styles? I guess for your card carriers, your smaller little wallets. What else are you trying to do with that? Because you've started to do like little farmers market things, haven't you?
Yeah, I at the beginning I was just pretty much making stuff and giving it away. I'm not even lying. Everything I was making, I was giving away. I was giving away to family, coworkers, whatever. And then when I started making so much, I would make like 10 of each. So I have that number in my head now. Anytime that I make one, I'm going to make 10 of, that piece or whatever. Yeah. Just recently I started doing some of the markets because my wife hadn't been working. She took off work for a while. Yeah. And I let me make some extra cash. And they've been somewhat successful. I show up, pay, my vendor fee, and I always make money on top of my vendor fee. So I'm pretty good. Yeah. And recently I've been getting leads into the bigger markets. So I have a huge one coming up at Bishop Arts, which is kind of well known here in Dallas. And then I have another one, I think in April, which is gonna be like a huge car show. Yeah. So once I get into the bigger markets and more people, get their hands on the product, I think it'll take off a little better.
Have you that's good shit, man. I don't want to just step over that. That's good stuff. I dig that. Have you come up with a seal and or a pressing to signify that this is you?
So it's crazy because I had been debating, just leave it as is or put something on it. Yeah. And my wife actually got me the stamp. So all the new stuff that I have now, you'll see the stamp. It just says handcrafted by Souls and Things. It's pretty basic, but
we hadn't really talked about the brand name. Fill us in on that. Is that the brand name for the wallets as well, or does the wallets have a different avenue?
No, it's the same thing. I mean, the whole Souls and Things is tied to the shoes, but I guess I'm more than just into sneakers. That's why I'm heavy into shoes. I've always been heavy into shoes, but I also teach. I'm also into this now. So, like I try to be a decent dad,
Yeah.
So it's just pretty much encompasses everything. It's souls and more or whatever.
Yeah, because I saw one of the dopest things is one of your most recent things, your little coffee coffee
Oh,
holder. That's sick, dude. I think that'll really pick up as long as it's like a universal to the size of which it is. Like a lot of heads are going to be interested in that, especially on the market scale. Because I mean, coffee cups are in the hands of many people throughout many days, and that's a pretty dope little one. And it'll help with the whole recycling and whatnot. But I think that's pretty dope. I dig that.
well, I was debating like a small thing, and something cheaper. And I was going between like a keychain or like a key holder or whatever. And then I was like, why don't I do the coffee cup sleeve,
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I did a plain basic one, like a brown, but I'm going to use some of my marbling hides on the next ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll price it. I mean, I'll make it pretty cheap so people can get their hands on it.
Yeah. No, that'll be something to look forward to. And I mean, I brought this up before we started recording, but you're the second guest that we've featured on the Doctor's Orders podcast with the 512 Foot Doctor that's been into like this leather craftsman just trade. That first one was a lady by the name of Leah Rose. She used to run a company by the name of Good Omen Goods, and she was on episode 22, I believe, of the podcast. So Freaks and Geeks, go check that one out as well. It's just a small world, these little the past, the cross, and the fact that we're sitting here with Jesus talking about souls and things, and the realms are very similar. Would never have thought it, but I'm glad that just wanted to shout out to her because go check that out. Very interesting, and ironic that it comes again up on the podcast. So that's pretty dope. So we're with the markets. You're working with the markets. You're trying to get a little bit more push in on those. We didn't really talk too much about the fact that you like deconstruct some of your. Or did you deconstruct those? Did you put that like Python on? Did you take them apart and whatnot?
It was it's funny because old shoes and you don't wear them after a while.
Yeah,
they pretty much fall apart. So I was going through the closet and I ran into that 2001 Air Force. And I was like, man, I can't wear this shoe. Like, the midsole's gone. Like, there's no support, no cushion. So I figured 2001 Air Force One leather is like leather. Yeah. Like, it's good leather. Yeah. So I chopped it up and I made the first card holder. And I was like, okay. And then I made a second. And I think I was able to make 4 or 5, like, total out of the pair. And like they came out decent. And actually the first one I gave away. And then the second one I sold for $15 because the guy was just staring at it. And I was like, dude, just take it. Give me. I mean, I know I could have sold for way more. Yeah. But it's one of those, like, if you really like what I made, just take it. You know what I mean? But it's, slowly I started cutting those up. I started cutting like beat up pairs that I have. So if it's beat up, and I know it's like beyond beat or I can't wear, I'm going to chop it up. And I have a bunch of pairs to the side that I have to get to.
I think they've been on like some ones, right? That you've put a texture on them or what? Tell me about that. You put like a snakeskin on there or what's up?
Well, like I know there was some snakeskin print on the Air Force. But I have different hides here. Like I have your regular cowhide, but I have exotic hides too. So I have python right now. I have ostrich leg. Yeah. I had beaver tail at one point. Okay. And I used the beaver tail on my last bespoke that I got made. Yeah. But beaver tail looks super dope. That's great. So like I have some exotic hides, but I don't use them all the time.
Yeah. That's cool. Have you heard of this Rose Anvil? You seen that? Yeah. What do you think about that? I like that cat. I think he's pretty dope.
Honestly, like dudes like that, we need to see, man, because they really tell you if what you're spending, is like, if it's worth your money, whatever you get your hands on, whether it's a Red Wing boot or these shoes that have this history of, good craftsmanship. Yeah. And a lot of the time, some really don't. I mean, you're buying, I think, the name or the tradition, but it's not worth your cash.
Yeah.
And people need to see that.
Yeah. So were you hand stitching these wallets, or did you use a sewing machine on them?
Everything I've made to this point has been hand stitched, man.
Okay.
Every single thing. And it's, I mean, it's good and bad because you can say that out loud and it feels good. Like everything I've made, I've cut and sewn and everything by hand.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to the bigger projects, it gets a little hard. Like my tote bags that I've made, the fanny packs, because it's time stitching. So like that's what I'm like, man, if I had a machine.
Yeah.
I think eventually I will get a machine for the bigger projects.
Yeah.
Like I still want to do some hand stitching. Just it's somewhat stress relieving, if it makes any sense.
Yeah. Are your kids or your wife into this?
Nah, not yet. I mean, like I use my older boy for advice. Like lately, I'll tell him like pick the thread color, or like like tell me what colors to match. Those kind of things.
Yeah.
But the cutting is super dangerous. Like the punching, the whole thing.
Yeah.
So like he helps me with a couple of things, but yeah, he can't help me with like the heavy duty stuff.
How often are you doing your farmers markets?
Right now, I think I slowed down recently, but I was doing about a couple of months.
Yeah.
Doing often. I was doing like maybe first week of the month, last week of the month, that kind of stuff. And my wife went back to work recently, so I've slowed down recently, like this year. Like so far, I think I've done like a couple. So I think my goal now is to look for those big, like huge ones.
Yeah.
And probably do maybe once a month or once every other month.
Yeah, let's see. You got a decent little stash inventory, or what's up with that?
Yeah, man. Right now, I probably got close to 100 pieces.
All right.
Like I haven't posted everything, but I'm stocking up big time.
Yeah. You thinking about anything for ladies?
Well, honestly, like a lot of the stuff that I'm making, you could say.
Yeah, for sure. It's a little unisex. I get that.
I think what I'm going to start doing is do more of like the solid, like all browns, all blacks, all one color. And I've had a few requests lately. Like, if this was like more brown or more this or more that.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't think I'm going to change it too much.
Yeah.
I ran into another artist recently and she goes, everything I make, I just put it together how I like it. And in a way, it made a lot of sense. I was like, you know what? That does make sense.
Yeah.
Like, she's almost like, don't go the route of like, people will like this if I do this to it or that to it. She's like, just be you, do you. And I was like, you know what? I think I am. I'm just going to go and kind of do what I like. And if people like it, they'll get it.
Yeah. You ever make any bags? I thought I saw one bag on your Instagram.
I've made a total of like maybe 4 totes, like the big totes.
Yeah.
I made my sister a crossbody bag because she was asking over and over.
Yeah.
I made my crossbody bag, and actually they're not too hard to make. It's just a thing that I don't like to do sometimes.
Yeah.
Zippers are probably the hardest thing for me
to attach onto there.
Yeah, putting on those zippers and doing it, like neatly. It's definitely not easy. Like, so I think I need to challenge myself and do more bags just to get that zipper practice.
All right. I'm gonna ask you this question. I don't want to focus on it too much because I've talked about it a little bit, but it's kind of like a question that kind of circles around. We've talked a lot about kind of our hobbies and our appreciations. Aside from shoes and possibly even like leather goods, do you collect anything?
I've always collected, man. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So it's like the first thing I ever collected was trading cards.
Okay, like basketball or what?
Basketball and football, just basketball. I never got into anything else. It was always like all the basketball players I was into or all the cowboy cards, stuff like that. From there, it took a straight nosedive into shoes. Yeah. So it was like first card, shoes. And right now, if it's possible, I think I'm collecting leather hides, which is crazy, man. Like I got the shoe. Well, it's kind of like in the garage. So I got the shoe garage.
Yeah.
And on the other side are all the hides.
Yeah.
Like I really got to slow down.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. So you got anything else you want to cover? Let me know. Fill me in. What's up? What else is going down?
No, I mean, I'm looking forward to getting back into yoga. That's the one
Yeah.
thing I do need to do. Pandemic hit and I stopped. And honestly, that's the reason.
Yeah.
Like I've been doing yoga probably close to a decade.
All right.
And I think through the yoga, like I was a lot more healthier. I think a lot more energy. Pandemic hit, I couldn't be in a room with, people, whatever.
Yeah.
And I gave it up completely. I started cycling here and there. You can't cycle year round, obviously. That's a problem.
Yeah.
So I was doing it heavy, man. I was going from 5 miles to 10 miles to 15 miles to 20 miles to like, I had to do something.
Yeah.
And I was working my way up pretty good. And I was at around 35 miles on my long rides.
Man.
So I'm crazy. I'm telling you, I go all in. And yeah, it was about 35 miles was my long ride. And then I started working again. So, it's just, I guess the timing is what gets to me. But the yoga definitely is in the future.
That's good. That's good. Well, I see you got the 5K shirt, and I've kind of seen you drop a few hints on your IG. Like, is that something you've been getting down with lately, or what's up?
Well, so the 5K is because my wife runs a nonprofit.
Okay.
And every year we do this 5K race. So like, I mean, I push it and stuff because it's just the way that we get the families involved. And it's not a marathon. It's not something you can't do, So it's something that anybody can do. You can walk it. You can do whatever. Yeah. So like, and I like to go on trails with the boys. Like we like to do hiking every now and then. So it's just a way for us to get out and, like encourage more people just to go outside.
Yeah.
But it's our big fundraiser for the nonprofit. Like we have it every year and we get a pretty decent turnout.
Yeah. That's what's up, dude. That's what's up. Well, man, I think we can just close it out. Tell us, hit the Freaks and Geeks, where they can find you, where they can continue, or where they can support, where they can pick up a wallet. I mean, this is a Texas-based podcast, so the Dallas heads out there, definitely go hit up Jesus, but drop your info. Tell them what's up.
So if you're on IG, it's Souls and Things, and it's pretty much the only place that I post all the leather work. I post some family stuff, some shoe stuff. But the end goal with the leather I had mentioned earlier is eventually I'll build my own shoes. Like I've been disappointed with all these brands for years now with the stuff they're selling us.
Yeah.
As soon as I get access to my own machinery, like I'll be done buying shoes from companies. It'll be over.
That's it.
But pretty much Souls and Things on IG. I don't think I'll ever sell on Etsy. I just don't see it. Yeah. I don't think I'll be selling on any one of those platforms. I like to meet and talk to people. I'd rather go meet you at a market and talk to you for 30 minutes, even if you don't buy from me.
Yeah. That's what's up. So what's the next market they can catch you at?
The next big one is March 26th is a Bishop Arts Bazaar.
Okay.
And they're expecting a huge turnout. I think over 100 vendors.
Yeah.
Food, crafts, you name it, like performances. It'll probably be like all day Sunday. So it should be pretty decent. I'm expecting to probably take double what I have currently in stock.
Yeah. Well, that's it, man. Freaks and Geeks. If you're in the area, again, hit him up. Well, Freaks and Geeks, that's all she wrote. Once again, I want to thank our guest for this episode of the podcast, Jesus Serrato, for just taking his time from the day and talking sneakers. I love talking shoes with you, dude. That was good. Some good little stories, good little insight as well. And for coming through and just sharing what you do, sharing your craft, sharing souls and things with the Freaks and Geeks out there. Freaks and Geeks, hit him up. Go follow him on Instagram. And also, if you're in the Dallas area, if you remember that date he dropped, March 26th, he's going to be at the Bishop Arts Bazaar. Go pick up a piece. Go say what's up. Go say, yo, I heard you on the fucking Doctor's Orders podcast with the 512 Foot Doctor. I really got down with that. Hit him up. He'll definitely be excited about that. Beautiful pieces, though, nevertheless. Freaks and Geeks, we move on. Finished with January, finished with February, moving on to an entirely different fucking month. We got an entirely different book of guests coming through, and we got some old buddies that are gonna pay us some visits as well. Got a lot of things in the work. Got some time off coming up in March as well with the whole spring break, so I'm looking to, book a couple of guests on that as well. Maybe some out of town podcast episodes as well. So be on the lookout and be ready for when those drop. And now, the closing credits. Freaks and Geeks, thank you for listening. And remember, new episodes of the podcast release every Wednesday at 6 a.m. Check it out. Do me a favor, Freaks and Geeks. This is where I need you. Go on any podcast platform that you prefer. Like and subscribe and rate the podcast. Want to get these numbers up? Want to get some more guests in here? Want to get some more heads looking this way towards the Freaks and Geeks? All right. So do that for me. Do that for the Foot Doctor. All right. Thank you for listening so much. I greatly appreciate that. But let's kick a little bit more in and let's get some likes. Let's get some comments and let's get some more downloads up there. All right. Make sure to leave a comment. Again, leave a comment and rate when you're going and subscribing. Hit me up on the podcast hotline. It's there. It's dry as a motherfucker right now, though. But so hit the podcast hotline up, Freaks and Geeks, with all of your questions to be answered by myself or any of the guests in the podcast. Hit us up. Drop us a line. 512-522-3814. And be sure to follow me on Instagram and continue to tell Freaks and Geeks that you know about the podcast. Remember, the Doctor's Orders podcast is a Life or Death Studios production. Freaks and Geeks, until next time, we'll see you on the next one. Don't be late.